Good afternoon, everybody. Justin here. It's 1:15 p.m. on this Friday, January 22nd, 2021. We're talking about the storm today. I'm going to see if I can make this as simple and short as possible, this update. So we're going to talk about this storm, and then we'll talk about what I'm seeing in this mid to long range forecast time frame, so which would be like late January into early February. So the main event for this weekend is going to be the snow there on Saturday night. I think that it's going to be mainly overnight into Sunday morning for Wisconsin. I think when you look farther west into Minnesota, might be more Saturday night. But either way, this is what the GFS is showing in the 6 hour average precipitation rate block, which is precipitation type is so that it would be blue, that would be snow there. And as we just take this through time, as I try to take it through time. At about, let's see, this would be about midnight on Saturday. So Saturday night into Sunday morning. Snow across, well, it looks like southern Minnesota, just breaking through over to the Mississippi River. The NAM was a little bit quicker with maybe even a leading band that comes through, and then there's a break Saturday night into far western Wisconsin, but I'm not going to make a big deal of that. I think what you're looking for is this main slug of precipitation to move through. What is the timing on that? And that looks to be about midnight Saturday into Sunday morning. So as I mentioned, yeah, Sunday morning looks like the best chance for snow. This is 6 a.m. Snowing a good rate there across southern Wisconsin. All of Wisconsin really going to see some snow, but you're going to see the most accumulation probably out of southeast Minnesota into central Wisconsin, and then we'll see how it carries over. I think you're going to have better accumulations or higher amounts in southern Minnesota than Wisconsin. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's go to noon on Sunday. The snow might be hanging around in eastern Wisconsin at that point, but by the time we get to 6 p.m. Sunday night, yeah, it's done, moved out. So you're looking at about a 12-hour event there, probably less than that for the heaviest accumulations. Now, we're going to take a look at all these various models again. This is kind of fun. GFS on the Kuchera ratio method, so that's a responsive. It's supposed to be, better than the 10-to-1, although I did set my lower bounds for this forecast at about the 10-to-1. I don't want to go too crazy with it. I really don't think there's a need. I think that, when you look at these maximum amounts here in the GFS, maybe up to 6 inches in southern Minnesota, but as you go into Wisconsin, it tails off. It goes back to 4. That's still enough snow to cause issues, but I don't know if it's going to be a big enough deal to go say anything more than that. Let's look at the NAM here. The NAM is obviously, and it's been above. It's been snowier than all the rest of the models pretty consistently, and it's been wrong more than the rest of them. I think that, so you're probably not going to go shooting for this high amount there. You're probably going to go shooting for less. I think that you would set the max somewhere around 6 inches in southern Minnesota, just based on, there's several factors, right? The system, it has a low pressure system centered here at the surface, way down here. Okay, so low pressure at a surface level is not very organized. So this tells me it's probably more of a mid-level or upper-level system, and really doesn't make much difference. I'm just saying that it, might be drier. It might not be a full, real big deal. At least that's the way I'm leaning. But anyway, NAM here. Yeah. So what you're kind of seeing again, and I'm just going to draw this in here, is this zone of heaviest accumulation. Okay. In there, generally speaking, I'll go back and forth here. I'm going to turn it to a 10-to-1. Okay, so this GFS, I don't trust that one. I like the NAM still better than that. High resolution NAM. See, I like the high resolution NAM, the way it's got that band all together there. If you compare the two models here, you got the NAM low res, which has like a local maximum here and here. But I kind of want to see that brought together in a more cohesive manner, and I think this makes more sense. The amounts are probably too high, but the axis is probably pretty close that far. Let's go take a look at a 10-to-1, because then I can show you the European. And we'll start with the European here. At a 10-to-1, yeah, it's only about 3, maybe 4 inches here in southeast Minnesota, and closer to 1 to 2 inches at a 10-to-1 ratio here in Wisconsin. So that's why I say I'm probably, I wouldn't go too crazy with the amounts here. The GFS is a little bit snowier, relatively speaking. I like the European, more conservative. Again, just going back and forth between them. They're generally in the same zone there. And then the NAM at a 10-to-1 is roughly pretty similar to the GFS, just think it's got that local maximum in here. I'm not sure what to do about. So we'll see. And then the high res NAM, yeah. So that's that. My forecast looks like this right now. Okay, I have a 2 to 4 inch zone across southern central Wisconsin. We'll see how far this 2 to 4 zone really gets into here because I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Usually around Milwaukee, you don't get the highest amounts. You probably get less than that. But two, I mean, what I'm saying is, if it's a 2 to 4 inch zone, I would say probably closer to 2 inches, if that, in that Milwaukee zone on this particular event. Uh, but I like 2 to 4 up in here. I think that's very conservative. I think that's a great place to be. And then I have the 4 to 6 back here. You could bring it. You can make the argument of bringing it closer to La Crosse, but I like it there just because I feel really good about the 2 to 4 inch zone. I think that's a good level for communication wise to be at. And for the rest of Wisconsin here, Ladysmith, Lakewood, 1 to 2 inches I think is good. Probably more closer to 1 inch. And then any places north of there, Upper Michigan, Ashland, less than an inch would be my guess. I'm pretty certain of that. The reason I did a 1 to 3 here, and probably could stay at 1 to 2, is just because I was looking at that NAM and I thought, well, what if the snow does end up being a little bit further south than predicted? That's happened recently, so I just was more of a CYA, cover your own butt kind of statement there in that 1 to 3, but it really doesn't matter. It's all kind of the same thing. But again, main point is this zone is what it's looking like right now. Okay, now let's talk about a little bit farther into the future here, more on the 7 day and then even into the 7 to 14 day time frame. The temperature graph here looks pretty similar to what it's been. Okay, we've had a couple of colder days, but in the whole context of winter, this is pretty mild. I mean, you don't even notice it barely. You would expect this time of year. But again, the temperatures then go back up closer to average, and it's kind of like boringly average. This whole month has been, for temperatures, has been sort of mild to boringly average, and it's kind of rare to see it just like hovering there. I mean, we had, man, I can't remember ever seeing as many days with the freezing fog, the riming ice on the tree branches. That was a couple weeks ago, but I mean, we had like a week there every day of fog, and it's almost like during the day the snow melts and it holds on to that moisture in the lower atmosphere, and then at night as the temperature cools, it precipitates it back up. I've never quite seen it do that so consistently. But anyway, so yeah, there's a temperature outlook. Now in the so this is a 6 to 10 day time frame from, it looks like, January 27th to the first day of February at the upper level, 500 millibar jet level. This type of pattern, now this isn't too far out. This would be pretty reliable, I think. This pattern seems to favor more of a western trough. Now, again, we've been looking for that western trough for a long time. I think my last video I was talking about this, that we were going to see it in January. And even the monthly outlook is kind of anticipating this. And I think hopefully finally we can get to somewhat of a pattern that looks like that. I don't want to back it up too much. So I went at that 6 to 10 day time frame. I like the predictability of that a little bit better than the 8 to 14. So I'm pretty optimistic we're going to see this at some point. And you're going to see that reflected in the GFS model here. This is the GFS 12Z from today. Now we're going to show you, as we go through here, that little bit of snow that moves through Saturday night. Okay, the 2 to 4 inches for Wisconsin. You're seeing that on here. And this is zoomed way out. So you're looking in here, right? Here's Wisconsin. Let me just go back. Okay, just to make sure we got our context set here. Sunday night, or Saturday night, Sunday morning. That's all that is. I mean, on a grand scale, it's a very small system, but happens to hit Wisconsin pretty well head on. And then as you go into early next week, we have a system that, now this will be interesting to watch, okay? If you go back to this pattern, that's one downfall of weather.cod.edu is that, I wish I could just stop it in that, as I move back and forth here, that header kind of makes things hard for a video, but I like it because I'm more comfortable using it, and I can thumb through back and forth, and it's very intuitive that way. It's hard for videos. But anyway, let's go back. I'm going to get rid of this drawing, and then we'll go back to this. Again, this pattern would tend to favor a storm track through the Great Lakes, okay? If you got a trough here, and then you got moisture and things kind of colliding. This is a classic storm track, okay? That's classic. But you have to get to that 6 to 10 day time frame first, okay? Now, if this is legitimately going to happen, we should already be seeing storms in that 6 to 10 day time frame, and we are. Okay, so here's Sunday night, and then we're going to early next week, and we're seeing this system here for Monday, going through the Ohio Valley now, and it surprised me to see this move further north as time goes on, or weaken even. I'm not set on it being in that specific location, But yeah, I mean that's kind of my expectation now. It's going to go through here. That's fine. Okay, that goes with the monthly forecast pretty well. Okay, now as we go through early part of next week, we have a break in there. High pressure just sliding just north of Wisconsin there, but not real strong either. And then another weak system kind of going through that same area, but not as strong. Again, we're at 141 hours here in the GFS, so this is where predictability starts to decrease. As we go towards the end of next week, again, not too much. I mean, you have this, the GFS wants to blow up this major system in the Atlantic Ocean, which, whatever, doesn't mean much for Wisconsin. And then this is where I got a little excited. Again, this is wish casting at 180 hours plus. We hope this will happen, but there's definitely no certainty that it will. System there. And then February 1st, another system. And then even another one. Way at the end, 330 hours. This is by the end of the first week of February, a system there. Again, this is going to change 1,000 times, but my point is, if you look at this pattern on the end of the GFS run here, it's pretty optimistic for storms, okay? And that would fit with this ensemble's upper level pattern, okay? So my expectation is that as we go into the last part of January, maybe early February too, that we'll get a little bit more stormy, and that would be fun, okay? So I'm optimistic. I hope you guys are too. I hope you guys are hanging in there. Yeah, and I'm. What else is going on first? Oh, this is just that part. I didn't really write a whole lot in the storm event for this coming up this weekend. I'm just not in the mood personally. I'm just not in the mood. But maybe later in the week, or maybe another time, or as time comes available. The one thing I am working on the website real slowly is I'm rebuilding the nav menu and just making it a little bit more intuitive. The headers. So if you go up here to the top of the website, this part of it up in here, working on that right now in the development environment. So hopefully I can get that out soon, but I'd really am taking my time because I don't want to burn out. So thank you guys for watching, and yeah, I'll catch you guys later.